Welcome. I'm Nikki Hollis, Sales Director at SAP Concur. For over 16 years, I have been working with organizations to help them streamline, automate, and improve a variety of business processes that reduce costs, reduce risk, and provide 360-degree visibility across their organizations. At SAP Concur, we are committed to ensuring that our customers have the insight into employee spend so that they can better make decisions and comply with legislation, while at the same time making the overall travel expenses and supplier invoice process easier for employees. Now, joining us today from lockdown in New York, I'm thrilled to welcome Joseph Bertram from AMI Partners. Joseph will be sharing with us the findings from an AMI Partners research paper, and he will be focusing on how to enhance employee experience and boost bottom lines. Now, for those who don't know SAP Concur, as a quick introduction, we provide SAP Concur solutions that connect all your expense, travel, and invoice spending into one system, thus providing a single way to manage spending end-to-end, giving you full visibility into spend, the ability to control spend, improve compliance, and as I said, really simplify the process for everyone. So I mentioned there the three main processes which SAP Concur can help you with, being travel, expense, and invoice. And yes, to address the elephant in the room, that being travel and expense, because I know what you might be thinking right now. Sounds great, but no one is traveling. Our expense transactions have massively reduced, or they have significantly changed in type. And I do get that. But I think that said, what we're finding now is that we're talking to many businesses who are really starting to feel the pains and strains of their manual processes. So many businesses are using this time right now to look into automation so that when we get back to business as usual or as close as possible, and to also ensure that if in the worst case ever we're in this situation again, they are much more well-equipped and prepared. We are speaking to finance teams and finance leaders on a day-to-day basis. And just the other day, I was feeling the pain from a client that I was speaking to. They're a large global consultancy firm. And their finance director there was spending his days going and collecting all of their mail from around all their offices. He was then going back to the one office, sorting it out, gathering up and sorting the mail for each of his team, and then posting it out to their individual home addresses. All of these finance-related documents, receipts, and invoices were all gathered and sent to the people who needed to process them. Then he was also spending lots of his time driving around London trying to find banks that are open. Then going back home so he could do his day job and work on the strategic plans for the business. And this was typically 2 a.m. every day, and he was doing this day after day. We're also hearing that businesses are arranging taxi or courier services to transfer paper to individual houses. They are also investing in IT equipment so that AP can complete their tasks and do their job. Now, in this current situation that we find ourselves in, it has really increased their desire to adopt more automation, which is why we thought now is a great time for us to get Joseph to share with you the findings from their research. Now, we commissioned this research because employee experience was identified as the biggest challenge for finance decision makers, FDMs, in a 2019 research study with AMI Partners, and we felt this was of huge importance for us to explore this further. Now, although this research took place prior to the current national health crisis, now, so more than ever, the discussion around the use of technology for remote working has never been more valuable. And with that, I'm going to hand you over to Joseph. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikki. I really appreciate that introduction, and those are some great anecdotes. Even within AMI, we are seeing some of those cases as well, and we're kind of looking into what's happening in the business space after this global pandemic that we're currently facing. But getting back, so a little introduction to myself. I'm a senior analyst at Analysys Mason. Some of you may know it is based in the UK, but originally I'm from AMI Partners, which was acquired by Analysys Mason in mid 2018. And I've been there for about 5 years. I manage a team that does a lot of work in really understanding the small and medium business space. And for clarity, small and medium businesses include those with under 1,000 employees. Getting into the study, we're going to be sharing insights on a study conducted in late 2019 on the importance of automating T&E and invoice management solutions. And we're really going to be focusing on 4 ways automation can help businesses enhance the employee experience while helping you to support your bottom lines. So before getting started, just wanted to give a little more background on AMI Partners. We are a global IT research and consulting firm based in New York, and we have over 20 years of experience of closely tracking businesses with less than 1,000 employees to really understand what are their pain points, what types of IT solutions are they using, what are their future plans, and how are those solutions really helping to benefit their companies and help them to kind of expand when the time is right, and also to manage challenges and to manage uncertain situations. So again, we've been focused on that space for over 20 years, and I think this is one of the main reasons why SAP Concur reached out to us to really get a good sense of what's going on in the small and medium business space. Now, getting specific into the study that we conducted, again, as Nikki mentioned earlier, this study was conducted before the COVID-19 pandemic. However, to her point, these themes and findings are still highly relevant to today's environment. We're seeing that many companies have had to adjust quickly in order to ensure that employees are able to work remotely. And while all businesses are feeling the pain at this moment, those who are using automated solutions have more flexibility to respond. Now, generally speaking, at AMI, we're always looking to get a better understanding of business needs. And to that end, we collaborated with SAP Concur to conduct this study to understand business experiences around travel and expense and supplier invoice management. For this study, we connected with 504 small, mid-sized, and large to mid-sized businesses, so those with over 500 employees. And we conducted the study within 6 key regions, those being Australia, Canada, France, Japan, the UK, and the US. Today, we will be looking at some of the global findings, but when we get into the 4 benefits of automation, we're really going to focus in on businesses in the UK. In addition to the surveys, we conducted in-depth interviews with with businesses using automated solutions to really get a deeper understanding of how they're benefiting and what their experiences were. So looking at a high level, what we found is that improving employee experience is something that many SMBs are actively thinking about. And again, it was one of the points that are at top of mind for businesses. And again, this is becoming even more relevant in the current environment. In addition to that, we were seeing that T&E and vendor invoice management solutions can help to play a role in improving the employee experience. And automation helps to boost bottom lines through increased efficiency and increased employee satisfaction. And we'll be getting into that shortly. So, with the rest of our time today, we'll be looking at why improving the employee experience should be an area of focus for financial decision makers. We'll see how workplace dynamics are evolving and what the current global trends influencing the need for automation are. Then we'll shift focus and look at the 4 ways that automation can enhance employee experience within UK businesses. And finally, we'll see how focusing on the employee experience helps to improve bottom line performance for businesses like yours. So why should financial decision makers focus on enhancing the employee experience? The answer is that boosting employee experience is not just good for the employees, but it is good for the company as a whole. A few reasons for this are that unmotivated and dissatisfied employees can have a negative impact on company performance, and higher turnover rates can hurt a company's bottom line, since replacing skilled workers can be costly and time consuming. It's always more expensive to hire and train a skilled employee as opposed to keeping one that's already within the organization. So overall, increased employee satisfaction can result in higher engagement, increased productivity, lower turnover. All of these things are also tied to a better customer experience. And when taken all together, these things can have a positive impact on the company's performance. So with that in mind, enhancing employee experience shouldn't be left just to HR departments. Financial decision makers should take active steps in this area, and we'll take a look at why. So looking into the changing workplace dynamics, we're seeing why it is more important than ever to focus on employees. So the workplace dynamics are shifting, and two of the major shifts that we're seeing are a distributed workforce, and the other is a newer or younger generation of employees taking on a larger proportion of the overall workforce. So focusing on distributed workforces, we are seeing that workplaces are evolving even before the current health crisis that we're facing. We have been seeing a growth in the number of employees that are working from home. And better remote connectivity is leading to more employees being able to work remotely, whether it's from home or while they're away from their desks. And today, working from home has become essentially a necessity for many businesses. For many businesses in order to maintain that business continuity. So under normal circumstances, when we conducted a study earlier in 2019, we found that 10% of employees in businesses with fewer than 1,000 employees work from home full-time. Now, after the impact of COVID-19, we expect this trend to accelerate faster than previously anticipated. And we think that, and even from our preliminary discussions this year, we're seeing that businesses are planning to change their work from home policies. So when we go back and talk to companies in the next 6 to 12 months, this 10%, we expect it to be significantly higher. So with this trend towards a more distributed workforce, businesses need to provide tools which enable their employees to work from anywhere with ease. Now looking at the other major shift of a new generation of employees, millennials and Gen Z comprise a growing share of today's workforce. As these groups move into the workplace, businesses need to rethink the steps they're taking to keep employees happy and engaged. Now, these generations are tech savvy or tech native since they grew up using technology in their everyday lives. They also tend to be goal-oriented and want to do work that is rewarding and impactful. And they tend to be easily dissatisfied if they're spending a lot of time on what they consider to be unproductive tasks. Now, I know that is definitely the case across generations, but these are some of the highlights that we're seeing within this newer group that's entering the workforce. The other thing that we're seeing is millennials are increasingly stepping into decision-making roles, and they're more open to adopting the latest solutions for business continuity. 80% of small and medium business, millennial business owners want to increase their spending on cloud solutions, and more than half plan to equip their employees with company-provided mobile devices. Now again, you know, all generations, regardless of regardless of what the title is, all of them know the importance of using the latest solution for business continuity, and we're seeing that employees of all ages are pushing for more advanced solutions, especially as these solutions become easier to use and it becomes clear that these technologies will make their jobs easier. So with all that in mind, businesses do need to implement the right tools to make sure that employees are staying engaged while allowing them to do their best work, no matter where they are. So when it comes to travel, expense, and supplier invoice management, financial decision makers' best bet is to adopt an automated solution. With automated T&E and invoicing solutions, your employees spend less time on unproductive tasks and more time on aspects of work they care about the most. So automating T&E and invoice management can be a step towards enhancing the employee experience. So looking at some of the challenges, businesses globally face challenges when managing T&E and invoices. Face challenges when they're managing their processes manually, and this can impact how employees feel about their work. So some of the challenges of managing T&E and supplier invoice manually are shown here on the slide. So for example, 60% of decision makers agree that time taken away from strategic work was a top challenge. So that means that they felt their teams were spending too much time on cumbersome processes or on cumbersome tasks, such as, you know, searching for receipts or looking for paper invoices or, you know, chasing around to get the proper signature. Nearly 60% of businesses cited protracted approval cycles as a major challenge when manually processing T&E records. So manual processes tend to be time-consuming and less efficient, and these slower processes can lead to delayed reimbursement, which can lead to employee frustration. And then finally here, we saw that 57% of small and medium businesses agree that manual T&E and invoice processes are cumbersome. And the main reason for this is that doing things manually can lead to a high number of errors. Automated solutions can ensure that things are done right the first time with less employee effort. So automation essentially removes a lot of the guesswork and kind of removes some of that human error. Now, getting into the main portion of what we want to discuss today, 4 benefits of automating T&E and invoice management that help enhance satisfaction among UK businesses with less than 1,000 employees. Now, those 4 key benefits are empowering employees remotely, whether they're working from home or away from their desks, or, and I know we're not really traveling now, but when we do start to travel, and we'll see that, you know, empowering employees that are on the go is, you know, is a key factor of making sure that we're keeping employees engaged and satisfied. Secondly, we'll look at boosting satisfaction with faster reimbursements. The third benefit is improving the finance team's experience. And finally, we'll look at increasing compliance and visibility, which helps to make the work of AR teams more effective. Now, all of these benefits combined, as we mentioned earlier, do work together to help to support your firm's bottom line. And we will get into that towards the end of our presentation today. So looking at our first benefit, empowering employees remotely. So as we've seen, employees are more mobile than ever before, whether it be working remotely or just checking data, spend data or budget data while away from their desk as they go to their next meeting. employees across the board want to be able to conduct more of their work or more of their tasks from their mobile devices. So what we found is that 89% of businesses with fewer than 1,000 employees in the UK have employees that use their smartphones for work. So, that we're seeing that this space or the penetration for mobile devices is quite high within the UK. In addition to that, 57% of UK businesses want to enable their employees to conduct more of their work-related tasks on mobile devices. And, we see how this ties back to one of the earlier data points where we saw that more business decision makers want to are looking to bring in mobile device usage for their employees. So we're seeing that this is an increasing trend. Now, focusing on the right side of the slide here, we do see that a good automated T&E and vendor invoice solution will allow employees to submit expense reports and submit expense receipts and approve reports from any device. Mobile applications provide easy on-demand access, which is particularly useful for employees that are, away from their desks or, outside of the office. In addition to that, mobile expense claims with T&E applications help to facilitate the capture of receipts as they occur, and this helps to increase employee satisfaction with the process by speeding up approval cycles. So what we just discussed here was supported by one of the financial decision makers using SAP Concur that we connected with. So this senior manager from a financial services firm using SAP Concur said, "I like the functioning of the app. It reduces the burden of one-off big processing to something I can do continuously. The end user experience is significantly better than manual processing." So in other words, this user was able to save time because they're able to process reports as they come in rather than spending several hours, a big chunk of time at the end of the month to do all of their approvals or processing all of these reports. Now, getting into our second key benefit of boosting satisfaction with faster reimbursements. So looking through the lens of what we're experiencing today, despite many people working remotely in the current environment, submissions of expense receipts is still quite relevant. So for example, many employees have had to purchase hardware and home office products in order to manage this unexpected shift to working from home. So, then the question arises, how do they submit their receipts for reimbursement? Again, Nikki provided an excellent example of something, one of her contacts is experiencing of having to run back and forth to the office to get the proper paperwork and find, a bank that's open in order to kind of submit the proper documents and get that reimbursement. Well, with an automated solution, employees can just snap a photo on their mobile device or send their e-receipt directly into the expense system, and then the proper manager can approve the receipt, and it saves a lot of hassle and quite a lot of worry. So, prior to what we're experiencing today, processing expenses manually often involve multiple parties signing physical documents, which can delay the reimbursement process. Now, a typical UK business takes about 9 days to get signed approval and another 10 business days to get reimbursed. So we can imagine how much longer it's taking under the current situation that we're facing when people are not able to meet in person. Now, long approval cycles can create personal cash flow challenges for employees if reimbursements take too long. So, I've purchased something that I need for work. I've sent the reimbursement, but now it's taking a long time for me to get my money back, it can create challenges in terms of paying off their credit card in time, which can lead to frustration. Now, focusing here on the right side, automation can speed up reimbursements by streamlining approvals and ensuring that approvers get notified the moment an expense report is submitted. A finance director using SAP Concur said, reimbursement takes them 5 days or less after automating, and there are less people involved in the process now. Because of faster payments, employee satisfaction with the process has gone up. So now we'll jump into our third key benefit of improving the finance employee experience. So generally speaking, finance teams face a lot of pressure to manage company cash flow and keep budgets on track. In a typical month, UK finance teams process 108 expense reports and 223 supplier invoices. And as firms grow, these workloads increase and keeping track becomes more challenging for finance employees, especially when using a manual process. So taking a moment to look at the global picture, small and medium businesses that we connected with save 530 hours annually per finance employee after automating. So automation allows employees to focus on more strategic work. About 69% of UK businesses saw a reduction in time spent by employees on administrative tasks, and this saved time can now be used for more productive work. In addition to that, we saw that more than 70% of UK businesses agree that their tasks have become more efficient after automating. So looking at some of these data points, we see that automation provides better efficiency and accuracy with less employee effort. And this does help to improve employee satisfaction since things are happening more quickly, productivity is up, and then again, it provides more time to focus on more important aspects of work. So let's take a look at what another financial decision maker had to say about their experience using SAP Concur. So this accounts payable manager said, it has saved us time. We're able to research things a lot faster. There's a better turnaround time in terms of responding to any questions that management or team members might have regarding an invoice or expense report. So this means that the necessary data is available more quickly, allowing for faster and more actionable decision making. And again, it also allows for a better ability to respond to challenges and uncertainties, since that data is more readily available. Now, let's jump into our fourth and final key benefit, or increasing compliance and visibility, and how it can positively impact the employee experience. So improved compliance and spend data visibility help to boost employee satisfaction by reducing everyday challenges. Compliance issues were among the top challenges faced by firms prior to automating. Submissions of non-qualified expenses and invoices was a major challenge reported by 66% of UK SMBs prior to automation. So improving compliance and reducing fraud today is still very relevant. Thinking of possibilities of external fraud, when organizations are in a vulnerable position, there are kind of opportunists and bad actors out there looking to take advantage of relaxed processes or looking to take advantage of uncertainty. And then when thinking about internal mistakes, these can become more common or more pronounced since employees may not be clear on what the company policies are. They're not able to connect as easily with the proper channels in order to understand, what purchases are approved or what purchases are qualified. So, we still see, even in today's environment, that this can be a significant challenge for businesses. Now, getting back into the data, we saw that 54% of UK businesses believe that they're better able to respond to business challenges because of increased visibility into spend data after implementing an automated solution. And according to 51% of UK businesses, automation helps to improve employee compliance and fraud detection. In addition to that, we saw that 77% of SAP Concur users in the UK agreed that automated solutions allow them to better respond to business challenges thanks to improved visibility of company spend data. So overall, automation helps finance employees to reduce or eliminate fraudulent, non-compliant, and duplicate expense and invoice entries in the system, thus enabling teams to do their jobs better and, as a result, helping to improve the employee experience. So, so that kind of brings us to the end of our 4 key benefits. And we've seen that these 4 benefits help firms we will see that these 4 benefits help firms to achieve a better bottom line. And going back to why financial decision makers should care about enhancing employee experience, again, not only is it important for the employee to make sure that they're doing a better job, but again, it helps to improve the overall organization. It helps to make sure that you're keeping your most skilled workers, making sure that they're focusing on areas of work that they care about the most, and really ensuring that it kind of benefits the organization as a whole. So with that, we have some interesting data on what the benefits were after, what the cost benefits were after implementing an automated solution. And here we'll take a step back and look at the global data. So on a global level, businesses who implemented automated solutions did see significant savings. And those using T&E solutions, for example, saved nearly £24,000 annually on average. Now, if we look at those using T&E, using an SAP Concur solution for T&E, they saved nearly 30% more, or £31,000 per year. And again, these were for businesses with less than 1,000 employees, with fewer than 1,000 employees. Similarly, looking at those using supplier invoice management solutions, those using an automated solution were saving £27,000 on average. And those using an SAP Concur solution saved almost 25% more, or £33,000 per year. So these savings are significant, and what we're seeing is that those savings come in the form of managing the size of the finance team, being able to process more receipts in the same amount of time without increasing the amount of effort, finding different opportunities for cutting costs and saving. So when processing solutions, when using a manual process, there are a lot of hidden costs, and using an automated solution does help to eliminate those and helps to make those costs more transparent. So these savings are significant, and they can have a strong impact on an organization year over year. The ability to save time and money is particularly important when companies need to respond to unexpected challenges, and particularly in times of uncertainty. And now with that, I'd like to close with one more testimonial from an SAP Concur user. So we've seen that SAP Concur solutions can increase or can help to support a company's bottom line by reducing unnecessary burdens on employees and helping them to remain flexible in responding to challenges while keeping finance and AR team sizes stable. So this accounts payable manager at a mid-sized financial services firm kind of put it quite nicely. He said, our accounting team size has remained the same even after some people retired from our company last year. We were able to utilize Concur's feature, Concur Capture, which was more cost effective than hiring someone new. And the point here is that it's not that we want to reduce the size of the finance team, but that we're able to grow the overall organization with the teams that we have. And this really speaks volumes in terms of ensuring that the company is saving where they need to save, when they need to save. So with that, I would like to say thank you everyone so much for your time. It's really been a pleasure, and I want to thank SAP Concur and Nikki here today for giving me the opportunity to present our findings to a broad audience. And with that, I'll pass it back over to you, Nikki. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joseph. That was great. We are going to have a little bit of time now for some Q&A. So if you want to submit any questions that you have for myself or Joseph, please put them in the box, and we'll do our best to answer them right now. And just while giving you a chance to sort of add some questions into the question box, I just wanted to focus on 2 points really that really resonate with this research for me. And it's boost the bottom lines. You know, we finished talking about that. And I was speaking to a colleague early on this year, and she said that when she talks to finance teams, she opens up her conversations with, you know, you're the profit center, and lots of finance teams, we're not. We're not. We're finance. We don't have anything to do with profit. You know, sales, you know, that's our profit. That's where we get our profit from. And she was like, no, there's only 2 areas a business can, you know, control their profit and control their bottom line, and that is sales, which is great, but also what your team do is controlling costs. And the only way you can do that is by having visibility of costs and able to track trends and spot areas where you can really make cost savings and improvements. And secondly, you know, around this employee experience, I think I really had my eyes opened, you know, in the last sort of 18 months since joining Concur on the impact that manual processes and duplication of effort and, you know, disparate systems and, you know, just finance teams just manually keying in data day after day has on individuals. You know, my team spend a lot of time out in the field, and typically when we engage with a business, we sort of sit down and we look at all the facts of what they're doing today. We then talk about all the problems with their existing systems, and then we look at the impact of that on that business. And then we also touch on the emotional space that that impact has on individual teams and individuals in the finance team. And when we actually present those findings back to a wider audience, sometimes it's a real eye-opener, for people to understand actually the impact that, you know, doing things manually, rekeying of data really has on the individuals in their finance team. So I just wanted to share that before we kick off with some questions. Let me have a look. So we've had a couple of questions come in. Please don't be shy. If anyone's got any other burning questions that you have for us, please reach out. So the first question, I think this is for you, Joseph, is how did the UK business outcomes differ compared to that of other countries?
Thank you for that. Yeah, that's a great question. So, you know, going back to who we connected with, so there were 6 countries overall. So in addition to the UK, it was the US, Australia, France, Canada, and Japan. So there were a few areas that stood out. So early on the slide, we saw, and maybe I can jump back to it quickly. So here we saw that 77% of UK SAP Concur users saw the benefit of automated solutions and enabling them to better respond to challenges thanks to improved visibility. So, you know, while globally we did see that this was a key benefit, the UK respondents, this definitely stood out for us. So this was quite a bit higher than average. So, you know, it'd be interesting to get into why, but these respondents kind of saw particular benefit in being able to see all of their data all in one place and being able to kind of react based on that easy access to the information. I think another area where UK businesses kind of stood out was in terms of overall cost savings. So, you know, again, we did see significant savings across the board, but I believe that UK was kind of above average, probably just behind the US in terms of overall reported savings. So yeah, those are some of the key areas that stood out. But yeah, thank you for that question. That was a good question. Thanks.
And one more for you as well, Joseph. What types of businesses were included in the survey?
Yeah, so we did focus on some key industries. I think we were focusing on those that were more likely to need T&E and invoice solution. So the key types of organizations or industries, I should say, we focused on were financial services firms, technology solution providers, professional services firms, you know, such as consultants, law firms, and things of the sort. We also looked at manufacturing firms and retail organizations. So those are the five industries we focused on for this study.
Okay, thanks, Joseph. I think we've just got a bit more time for one question, and this looks like it is for me. So where do we find further information? So I think I said at the start of the webinar, there is a resources section. We can share that with you. We will be sharing this video recorded in the next 24 hours. But actually, there's a nice segue into the final slide. So what next? I'm actually also hosting another webinar session this week. If you really want to delve a bit deeper and understand how SAP Concur enables businesses to automate, we do have a webinar this Friday at 1 p.m. I will be joined by Lindsay Herbert, who is the Chief Innovation Officer and author of Digital Transformation. Now, it's at 1 o'clock. It is at lunchtime. So this is a virtual lunch, and I will be giving a £10 Deliveroo voucher for all those that attend. So if you are interested in joining that webinar, please contact us, get in touch, and we can register you for that. Everyone, you know, I really hope that you found this insightful and got value from today's session. You know, thank you, Joseph, for presenting those findings back to our audience. If anybody does want further information or they can't join the webinar, you know, there's our contact details. Have a conversation with us. I know me and the team at SAP Concur would love to discuss your challenges or just really to share with you extra findings that we're hearing in the marketplace right now. So that said, I'm going to give everyone a few minutes back. It's very sunny, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining today, and stay safe.